All right, this is what I think is happening today. Maybe I'll be hanging out with Jitter Ted. There's still a chance that's going to happen. I'm going to work on this multi-architecture build pack. The team over at Paketo has been doing some awesome stuff, and I need to do my part if we're going to get this multi-architecture build pack stuff going. I am definitely going to be looking at Liberica JDK, the new version 21.0.1 plus 15, which has the crack support. And then I'm gonna record a little Cloud Foundry demo. That's what I got going on today. Well, everything else we'll just kind of see. So if you want to hang out, you can always ask questions. So I'll throw this on. Let's do that. There we go. Should be a way for me to bump things. There should be a way for me to bump things. But I'm not seeing it. Banner. Name. Nope. That's all right. We'll go. So that's what cluster at stuff. Here's why I'm here. I just want to help others. I want to be visible, representative. I have enjoyed my career. I want others to have that joy. That'd be great. Lift, do, climb. Every up counts. That's what's up. That's what I'm doing. So I'm just like, I don't know, just trying to like, yeah, open up. If you have questions, ask. It's I don't know how to make it. I'm not good at that part. The like, hey, I really want you to come and ask me questions. I don't know how to like pick you out and say, hey, come and ask. I know it would be nice if I could say, if I knew everybody that needed help. It'd be awesome if I could figure out how to find people that needed my expertise. But I have no idea how to do that. No idea how to do that. So I just like open it up, and hopefully, if it's not you and it's your friend, you can tell your friend, and we'll get it figured out. So what I was working on yesterday, last time we hung out, was I got my choreographer set up. I'm setting up computers, so I might have to do that real quick. Is like move some stuff around. I want to build another set. Actually, let me do this on another screen. I was also working on bottom. I have this idea for a thing that might be fun to like just do live. So we'll see. So I'm gonna go look at my old notes. What is today? 13th. I'm gonna go look at some old notes. Maybe. I had a halfway decent drawing, and I don't have a like good way of organizing all this yet. Wait, what? Did that. Save. Now I want to open Sunday. Just going in and pulling the notes. As always, like if the audio is all wonky, please let me know. wanted to get the manage node going. So what I think I'm going to do, this is what I'm looking at. I've got these different clusters for different phases of what we're doing for software for Spring. So I made a node yesterday. It's got choreographer installed. I did not do KPack yet, but I think I want to get to this manage node. So I think I'm going to do that real quick. I'm just going to build a, install Ubuntu and upgrade it, add Tailscale, add K3s and FluxCD so I can install it. But then I'll start doing the backstage, the Zipkin, the stuff. I want to be able to capture all of the stuff. Backstage is the main thing that I'd like to get to. But I want to be able to capture and have resources for all the different clusters that we're running and have like a central repository. The other thing is Rundeck. This managed cluster is not just going to manage the workloads, but it's also going to help manage some of the infrastructure. Again, I'm doing this the hard way, I think, but I want, I want to have something to talk about. I want to check the boxes that you're probably checking. So let's switch to that. Let's switch to installing Ubuntu again. So I need to move this machine. Actually, I can bring that up. I need to move this machine over to the closet. Let it figure out its thing. All right, so I can add you. It would be cool. How do I do this? How do I make it so that does that still look cool if I like if I turn off the banner so you see the bottom? That'll be fine. I think it's fine, but you tell me if it's not. So hey, we're just we're doing stuff. So we're gonna move this box and we're gonna keep on going. So yeah, stay tuned. So I'm unplugging Kaitaku, and we are going to boot up or install Kaizen. So bear with me. Enjoy the music, and it'll just be, we'll be doing that in the background. We're just going to get all the things plugged in. Get our network, our tiny little monitor. And our DVD drive. We're just going to install. We're not even going to look at it. We don't want to know what's on this. We're just going to go. We're not looking back. So I'm going to get, well, that one's booting up. I'm going to get this one plugged in. On these Nooks, you have to have this HDMI bit. This device tells the computer that it's got a monitor plugged in, and this is how we are able to boot up headless. We're gonna switch out a power strip in the closet. Hey, Thomas. Hello. Do I have spring? Do I have a spring authorization server? I want to get a new project started with it. Yeah, I do. So there's actually a really, really cool starter at this point. They make it really, really easy. Let's jump into that real quick. Oh, you know what? There's a starter. This is new. So there's a Spring Boot starter that gives you an authorization server. So that's the best way to start. Let's. Do you want to do one? Do you want to make one real quick? How can I help you? Because we could jump into this. This is where I want you to start. Yeah, once you get that, you can roll. Maybe I just do, right? Let's go. Yeah, we can start. Now, I don't remember all of the configs off the top of my head, but I know who to call. But this is the pattern that I've used a lot, and I'll tell you, or this is the tool that I've used a lot. So the way that I think about things, as always, and this is when I'm doing like the microservice approach. I've got like a gateway that sits in front of my microservices, or what have you. And then one of those things kind of like sits out here, because I do expose it, is that I want to get a little Keycloak alternative rolling for user management. I would just need to create custom user detail service bean. Yep, that's exactly right. And you want to know what else? They have examples of all of, like, if you wanted to do it as like a MySQL database, in the docs. I think it might be here. Let's take a look. They have the schemas that you need, and you can literally copy and paste the schemas and then modify from there. Where is this? I'm just trying to help you find it. Where is it? Is it in the getting started maybe? Here we go. The schema. So if you wanted to do the alternative, you have the schemas here. Your client, your authorization consent. There's also, I believe they have the user details. So client is client, not necessarily user. I feel like they had the user also. But hopefully that'll get you started. Maybe let's get up here. Hopefully that'll get you started. And like, again, what time is it? I'm not sure. Do you want to just like jump on and we can work through it? I'd be happy to do that if you'll give me just a few minutes to like. Yeah, there you go. I'm reswizzling the closet over there, and I don't have anything really unless JitterTed calls or responds, I don't have anything else going on for a few hours. So I could hop through, and I have an example. I'll tell you what I would like to do is this is kind of the model that I do. Like, hey, let the gateway do the security, go over here, get authenticated, and then the gateway can hold that session and let you know what you're authenticated to. What I'd like to do is do it as a modulith, right? So I want to implement this kind of like same strategy that I've done, that I have in my head from multiple reps. I want to implement this same thing as a modulith. So like certain route, you're trying to access whatever user, service or product, whatever, and it's secured. And it says, hey, no, cool, you got to go and get authenticated. So you got to call over to auth and just use, sign what needs to be signed. I believe that there's a way to do this. I've just never done it. So that's kind of the project. I want to take the same pattern that I've done many, many times. And I want to, instead of having microservices, I want to squish it down into a modulith. Now, this is, I don't think, one of the primary use cases of the modulith, but for me and for the Raspberry Pis, and as I'm thinking about things that are sitting on the edge, it would be nice to have a simplified deployment model. You talked about Koyeb the other day, like just a way Koyeb gets more difficult the more things that you deploy. But GitHub Universe was this past week, right? You have GitHub Actions. The more pieces that I've got to deploy into the more places, the more complex it gets. So as I'm thinking about infrastructure, and I'm thinking about still have all the power and have all the different ways of deploying this model, right? Maybe I can put it down into a native image so it's super tiny, and I can still deliver it to an edge device, a Raspberry Pi sitting outside, taking pictures of the moon or whatever it is. So that's why I'm going in this direction. I'm going to redo a previous example that I did called Barbecue Wednesday. And I'm going to build out this app as a modulith. That's the idea. So yeah, I don't know the tricks, right? It might have to be a port or a route binding. So we'll see. I don't know. I haven't gotten there yet, but that's what I'm going to try to do. So, right, here's the thing. When I do this, like currently, I actually have an example of that. When I do this, I actually set this up as like auth.barbecue Wednesday. And this is just star.barbecue or root or whatever. So that this has its own SSL and it's got its own URL, but I think I could still do that. Maybe I put a gateway in here, but I'm not sure. So that's something I'd like to try, right? I'm going down this path just like you. I haven't done it. I will do it. So stay tuned. But you dig in. If you run into questions, call me. I'm gonna go like swap out a power strip, and I got to move some cables around because I'm spinning up like 8 more computers today. So I got a little bit of work I got to get done, and I'm trying to get this done before I go to Pennsylvania. I'd like to have it up and running before my next trip. So thanks for dropping in. I appreciate you. Get started. If you have any questions, call me, and then you always have the Discord. All right, I'm gonna enjoy the music. Sure, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it later this week. We can definitely hook up. So please hold. Enjoy the music. I'll be back. Network. I just need network. I see your note here about playing Crusader Kings. I did not get to Crusader Kings. It's still on my to-do list. And I think I have an idea for how I'm going to do one of these things. I think I need to do like a little roundup. All right, so this is going, that one is booting up. So let's check if we have a Kubernetes dial tone. We're looking for the build cluster. And it looks like it's up and ready. Like, fantastic. Let's just go and do our normal cleanup. This is the task that I want Rundeck to handle. I think there's a firmware. All right, we are good. We have a node that's up. We have workloads that are up. Fantastic, but we're going to show like everything that's there. We'll do this so it can fit. There we go. So that looks the way it's supposed to look. I have a cartographer namespace system. Cartographer system namespace. All right, that's cool. I didn't know. Here's what we're gonna do. We are going to. We're waiting for that to come up. It's booting 23.10, so we can be on the latest and greatest. While that's going, again, I had other stuff that I wanted to do. I'm gonna keep on checking my email to see if JitterTed is available. That's the main like thing I want to get excited about today is I want to hang out with JitterTed. And I haven't heard back yet. I don't want to be like, hey, did you forget about me? Like there's like some kind of like a time frame, right? Like when you say like, hey, let's do a stream together, and then you're like, yeah, that's exciting, and then I send out an invite, and then I want to be like, hey, did you get my text? Did you get my message? But I get it, he's busy. World famous, amazing, and busy. And what probably happened is I didn't respond fast enough. That's a problem that I have. I didn't respond fast enough, and maybe I missed the opportunity. And it wouldn't be the first time. It's probably not gonna be the last time that happens to me. So we're doing this. Maybe I should do this first instead of Kaizen. I got one more. So now, let's switch. We can see that we're over here. Let's remove this and let's go this way. We are going to just get through the setup. We're going to do our regular layout. We're doing Ubuntu server. Even though I do have my glasses on, I can't see that tiny screen. These are my new glasses, and I'm already like squinting and stuff. Like, what is up? But this is nothing. This is just a Ubuntu server installation from a DVD. So I burned the DVD and now I'm plugging in the machines. Nothing fancy. And there's definitely like better ways to automate this. And we've done that, and we'll get back to that. But just right now, it's just about getting it to work, and then we'll get it right. My idea was here is like I need to have like a notes from this week. Notes. Was it Nara? I think I saw it over here. And it's from Keith Sater. And this right here, Nala. Take a look at Nala. Like just keeping track of the things that I get distracted on and things that I learn about through the week. I think it'd be nice to keep track of those. So I'll do like a Monday to Sunday and maybe do a Sunday recap, not newsletter like Dan, because that seems like too much of an obligation, but just like a recap occasionally. All right, so we're going. This is trying to figure out a mirror location. And what else? Is there a kick? Like, no. Is there like do they have any kind of API? It's new. Developers. An upcoming public API release. Our team is hard at work finalizing the details. We're expecting to launch in a few weeks. Right on. While we put on the finishing touches, we would love to get to know you better by understanding your needs, we can provide you with optimal level of service once our public API is live. Right? Like, I can do this. Yeah. That's who I am. I'll fill the rest of this out over here, though. Not that it's anything crazy. I think most of you know how to get all my stuff. I have a Discord username. Let me find that. How do I do that? Like, I know I'm there. I just don't know, like, where to find my info. Oh wait, down here. There we go. Right, I turned off streamer mode. I still don't know where my little user. Oh, here it is. Legacy username badge. I think that's right. I think that's it. And I'm gonna go back to settings. I like this streamer mode. I just turned it off, but now I don't know how to turn it back on. No idea. There it is. Streamer mode. Engaged. All right, fantastic. All right, so I was filling out the form, and I was going to let see if I can get some access to the Kick API. Requests per second, maybe 5. What's happening? Done. All right, so submitted. Let's see if we can get some early access to the appy. Oh wait, so I wanted to add this to my Crusader Kings. I wanted to add that to my little notes. Just so I don't forget about stuff, right? Like the little one-offs, and I'm sure that there's a better place to do this. I'll get organized. I am practicing, trying the stream thing, trying to do more, and I'll learn what works. So this is going, we have a mirror, we can go, let's use the entire disk. And again, Sean. Wait, my server's name. I say? We're gonna do Kaizen first. Moving. Good boy. Yes. Import. Yes. We'll get a username. We'll do that for now. Let's grab some keys. We don't need anything else. And then just go. Just go. Just go. Install it. So we're installing nodes. The one that we did last night is up and running. It's good. You know what else? The other thing is I have a Mac Mini back there, and I think that I'm gonna make that into Ubuntu because it's a 2011 Mac Mini. I can get $0 for it on trade-in, but it fits in there really nice. And yeah, I think I'm just gonna run Ubuntu on it. I got some computers. I'm gonna get all these computers set up, and we're gonna get metrics, and we're gonna do stuff so we have like live data, and then we'll start unplugging things and seeing how chaotic it can be. Normally my kids are enough chaos, but yeah, we'll see. We'll do some experiments. So here's a question. While that's installing, here's a question. I'm going to, I think I know how to do it. I'm going to go into the air with my laptop. And then this cluster hat. And I'm going to be on United Wi-Fi. I want both my laptop and my cluster hat to be able to connect to United Wi-Fi. At the same time. So when I do it with my phone, I can do the little like phone and then tether to my laptop. But then could I then also tether that cluster hat? How would I connect the cluster hat here? I feel like it's got to go this way. I feel like I gotta plug in the cluster hat into the laptop. So I could verify that just by tethering my laptop to my phone, just my regular phone data, and then connecting the cluster hat to my laptop and turning on Wi-Fi sharing, right? Or whatever it is, like there's gotta be a way to do that. I don't want to do Bluetooth, but Bluetooth would be interesting, but I don't have Wi-Fi turned on, and I don't have Bluetooth turned on, or that's the plan. Is I want this cluster hat to be a wired connection. It doesn't have to be a solid wired connection, but I want it to be wired. Why? Because when it's here, it's going to be wired, and I don't want more stuff on the Wi-Fi. I got dozens of these things, and I don't want them all on Wi-Fi. So that's why. So I need to think about that. All right, let's go back here. We are good, and we can reboot. It should spit out that DVD. Fantastic. It says failed to unmount, but really didn't. It unmounted just fine. I have a better way to do that. All right, and let's just keep going. We called it Kaizen. Right, we called it Kaizen. So we're gonna just get it up and running. I don't know that I'm gonna install anything on the stream due to time. Let me think about that. All right, now we can sh Kaizen. Sure. Immune. App update. They're doing the housekeeping. Is what we're doing. Just doing housekeeping. Stand up some stuff. What else do we need to do? Just this. And I'm doing this to make my, I'll show you where I get it from. Up, to make my K3Sup install a little bit easier. Right there. Not Alex. Sean. Is there anything else I want to do while I'm on the machine? I don't think so. So then the next thing we want to do is K3Sup. Oh no, we want to do this. We want to install Tailscale. And I have those notes somewhere. Please hold. Get that going so that I can, right, when I'm on a plane, I want to be able to connect over Wi-Fi. I want to be able to connect to all the stuff that's at home, all of the clusters. So I hook them up to my Tailscale VPN. We can record this while this is going. Sudo Tailscale up. I'll go fast. Connect. And success. All right, it's connected to my VPN, not yours. And I think that's it. We did the upgrade, we did the tail scale, and now we do the K3S. So I'm doing the K3S here because this machine, this juice box, is the one that I do all my stuff from. So we're going to call this a management cluster. So first thing we're going to do is ping Kaizen, get an IP, and we're going to paste this. And we're going to call it MGMT. And for the install, we are going to use the Kaizen IP address. So 7.29.51. And let it do its thing. When this is done, I should have another kube context for another cluster. This is just a single little cluster running on the NUC that we just installed. And I should be able to kubectx mgmt, and then kubectl get nodes -o wide and see that it's ready. Fantastic, it has been up for 17 seconds. So now we are here. We have our MGMT cluster, right? MGMT, but our run cluster. These are the clusters. These are all run clusters. Like these are the cluster names where things are going to run. This one is build. And those clusters right now are made up of different nodes that I have, physical nodes. But I can switch it around. Like that's not it doesn't matter what box they're on. It matters what cluster they're in. And that looks like this. So I've got these different clusters and they have different configurations. I don't know what to do about this one. I think I'm going to make that a K3D as well. In fact, I just made up my mind I am. The next step, we have K3S installed. Now let's Flux enable it. So what I have here, I think I have it actually open. Or no. There we go. Cool. Make sure I got the latest and greatest. In my README, I say, hey, here's how we bootstrap something. Let me remind myself that I'm in the right cluster in GMT. We're going to bootstrap that cluster. So I can really just click this button. Say bootstrap MGMT cluster. So I'm over here and I'm looking at K9s. I see that Flux is being installed. Hey, it's creating that container. I need a different view because I want a view that shows me a nice K9s where I can see everything. Or maybe I just need to find the right. Like I need a good, I don't know what to say. I want this to be smaller because I get more stuff inside my K9s view. But then at the same time, I want this one to be all the way up so that you can read it, right? You need to read all the little things, but I want you to be able to read this one. Does that make sense? Hopefully. So now here we are. And I think this is done. So is there anything else I need to do on this machine, or can I put it up there? Backstage is what I wanted to put on there. Yeah, one place for everything. I don't have 200, but I'm going to use it anyways. Let's go to the docs. Oh, I have an account. Standing up backstage. That looks like a good place to start. Should we just do it? Okay, in this course, it's a course. You'll be installing your very own installation of Backstage. This will be a standalone version of the app, and you'll be able to use your own instance, authentication using GitHub, and integration with your source control system, a persistent database. This tutorial assumes a basic understanding of working on a Linux-based operating system using tools like apt-get, npm, yarn curl. Docker knowledge is also helpful for making the best use of your Backstage install prereqs. There are a few development tools you'll need to have installed on your computer to get started with Backstage. This guide assumes a basic understanding of command line tooling and access to a Linux-like terminal environment. Okay, access to a Linux-based operating system, an account with elevated rights to install the dependencies, Node, Yarn, Docker. I think I went down this path and I was just like, installing a remote machine VM. All right, creating the Backstage application. I don't want to install it on a machine. I want a Helm, right? There's got to be one there, right? Did you see what I did? I just looked at the date and I was like, nah. We had some discussion that covers some of the same problems. The plugins are not plug-and-play items that can be dropped into the code base, but requires all sorts of integrations in the front and back-end applications. I have a hard time seeing how we can make this happen. Thanks for pointing me at this. I missed that. I'm slightly confused as to why it's been closed as an issue when an operator seems like the logical way to support deploying Backstage if plugins required customization at the point of integration. Given the complexity around plugins, it looks like we need a Backstage K8s operator responsible for managing deployments. This operator could then be deployed by a Helm chart. At a MVP level, the operator could define a CRD for a Backstage instance and a CRD for plugin installation. The plugin CRD define an API to support per plugin customization required. The main reason for closing that issue was no concrete use case was identified. For details around a thought experiment around modeling this, if you identify a concrete use case where the operator pattern makes sense, please fill in the comment. This is automatic market stale. Was the RFC around this ever created? I don't know of one offhand. This is a long time ago. Automated market stale. Yeah, I think it's still not a use case. So I think, to be honest, we should be closing the ticket in favor of the current Helm chart that exists today. It's a long way off, and Backstage is right now architected in a way that this isn't possible without configuration of the JSX and the code to customize it to your needs. Maybe one day we'll have that in a dynamic way, but either way, I don't think that this ticket is the right place to track that thoughts. Correctly designed charts would certainly be very useful in deploying Backstage at first. It would be enough to extend and streamline the current charts in a way that you can expand and make the configuration more flexible. At this point, for example, without using quite ugly hacks, it's not possible to securely get a password to the Postgres database. A reference to an existing Kubernetes secret created in a more secure way. Sum up, your own Docker images would still be required to start, but the charts would allow for more flexibility. What are some advantages of providing charts over using the K8s resources directly? Is it a deployment environment constraint or something to make it easier to set up? I'm having a hard time seeing the charts actually being easier to use than the plain K8s objects. Definitely easier to deploy the initial version with single Helm command. Would it make sense to switch around how config is done in the existing chart so that the user of the chart configures an entire app config YAML instead of each individual value? That seems to be the biggest thorn in the current charts. Then there could be a few extra switches like whether to include Postgres or not, but overall keep it quite slim. Would you like to chip in? Since we just deployed test installation with current Helm chart, I'd like to see this reopen. The experience was pretty painful to say the least as we ran into the following problems. Oh boy. So this has continued Backstage charts is now the place to go for charts. Okay, let's go. Backstage charts. Backstage Helm Chart is an open platform for building developer portals powered by centralized software catalog. Backstage restores order. Okay. Scope. This chart focuses on providing users the same experience and functionality no matter what flavor of Kubernetes they use. This chart will support only patterns that are either customary for all Kubernetes flavors or commonly used in the Bitnami charts ecosystem and recognized as Backstage official patterns. We welcome other more specialized charts to use this canonical chart as a direct dependency expanding the feature set further. Usage chart repo. All right, so let's go. Did I already do this? So let's go. The way that I've got this set up is I can close this. What we'll see now is if I do this git pull, we saw it install already. What is happening? Just want to drop in and say hi. James, I am happy that you're here. Thanks for jumping in. I'm going to install Backstage on Kubernetes, and I'm just going through it. It's the first time. I got a pattern that you at least understand. You might appreciate. I'm doing it the hard way-ish. I am trying to do all the OSS DIY stuff that somebody might attempt, and I want to experience the pain, and I'm just doing it live for fun. Man, I'm excited to hang out with you sometime soon. So yeah, thank you for dropping in. That makes me smile. This day is going to be a whole lot better. So over here, that box, we're just going to leave it. We're going to install. Yeah. Yes, indeed. That's what we're trying. You get this, right? One of the ways that we can do that customer research, understand their pain, is feel it. So when I go out and hang out with the customer, let's get Spring Boot to production. How many ways can we do it? And I just want to understand where they're at, because for now a long time I've had an easy button, right? I've had the nice platform where I just do CF push, right, and things go, and all the stuff is taken care of. But yeah, sometimes there's the hard way, and I want to be able to show the difference and understand the difference. Why would anybody want to do it this way when this way is so much easier? That's all. And I don't have a boatload of money. I got Raspberry Pi money, so that's what I'm doing. But yeah, I think you get it. So I'm using Flux, and this pattern is where I've got my cluster set up, and I did a git pull. So now I can see that MGMT cluster that we just initialized. And if I want to add some stuff to it, I've got this infrastructure. I've got this pattern. Let's grab the one from here. I'm just going to copy this file. I'm going to throw it in here. I don't want to have the same infrastructure in my management cluster as I do in my build cluster, but I might want Cert Manager. I definitely don't want Cartographer, so I can get rid of that. But all this is doing is saying hey, go do this stuff to install Cert Manager. If Cert Manager is not a prerequisite, I'm not going to install it. This just says, hey, it's going to be in the Bitnami charts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look. I don't have Backstage, so I'm going to make a new one. It's a new thing. These are the things that are supported, that are on the menu if you're running on my platform, my magical platform. So the way that looks, it's much like this. Is Cartographer a Helm chart? It is. So it's, yeah, let's do this. So I'm gonna copy this one as my starting point, because it's building from a Helm chart, and I'll explain what I'm doing. So what I see first is I got to change the name. So hey, this is a customization. So if you pull in this Backstage, we're going to put you into a Backstage namespace, and then this is the Helm repository. So we're going to call it Bitnami. And we're going to give it a URL right here. So just like we're doing in this command, except I'm putting it right into my GitHub repo. So now I've got a Helm repository. I wasn't sharing my screen. Thank you. Like, that's what I needed to be doing. So let's do this. Boom. Thank you for that. I'm new to this streaming thing. So now let's go back. Here's my clusters. I've got these different clusters set up, and inside of those clusters, I've got this configuration. So I'm using FluxCD, and I just added this infrastructure. So for this management cluster back here, this might look familiar. I've got my dev clusters. I've got a build cluster. Right now it's going to have choreographer and KPack. Look at this management cluster. In the management cluster, I'm starting with Backstage, but this is where I'm going to aggregate all of my stuff, because wherever your workload runs, it might have some metric stuff, but if you're a developer person, I don't want you to have to know where your workload is running. But I do want you to have a single place to go for your alerts, for your logs, metrics, traces, etc., to know how to install things. Yeah, all your analytics. I want you to have one place to go to. So this will be exposed. These will have Prometheus, Redis stuff, but I'm going to aggregate it to this management cluster, and that's what I'm building right now. So I'm installing Backstage. So inside of this management cluster here, I've said, hey, I want Cert Manager, and then I'm also going to say, you know what else I want? I want Backstage. I don't think I need Cert Manager, at least yet. I think I do. So that microcase cluster doesn't exist anymore. So if I just delete that, cool, I'm done. I don't need it anymore. But microcase is, wait, how come I don't see Lukey on here? Wait a minute, what's happening? Git pull. I gotta do some, I have some cleanup to do, because what you can see here is my clusters list doesn't match, right? Microcase is now Lukey, and that's the one that I'm doing the Cilium cluster mesh with. So we'll get back to that. We'll clean that up later. And let's get back to what we're doing is in this management cluster that we just created, we just installed Flux. We are going to install some stuff. Actually, let's just do this. Delete that, and we're going to rename this. And this allows me to configure my infrastructure the same way. So I can deploy, if I have this same reference to infrastructure Backstage, I can have it in multiple places, and I can deploy it. Same with the tenants that I have. So let's just keep on going. So all of that looks good, right? It's a customization that's going to live in the Flux system, and it's going to reference infrastructure Backstage. So here we are in infrastructure Backstage. It's a customization, and it's just referencing this helm.yaml. The helm.yaml says, hey, give me a Backstage namespace. And I'm going to be referencing this Helm repository that lives here. And then the release, this is the chart name. The release is going to look like this. Backstage. Wait, oh, this is another repository. So I need to add both. So let's go here. This is the first time I've done that. So here where I added this Helm repository for Bitnami, we're going to add one more. And this one is for Backstage. So it's called Backstage, and its URL is here. So this is so that I can like add or remove stuff all from Git. Is the idea. So now I've got my repositories configured, and here's the upgrade. We're going to install Backstage. So here the name is Backstage. The namespace where it's going to live is Backstage, nice and easy, and the chart is actually called Backstage. It's from the Backstage chart. Actually comes from the Backstage repository. This one up here, right? The Backstage repository. But there must be a dependency from Backstage to something that lives in this Bitnami repository. So that's okay. We're good. So I don't think I need any of these things. Those are all values from Cert Manager. So that's just saying, hey, like, just go do it. So installing from the OCI registry. Charts are also available in OCI format. The list of charts found here. No, I'm not. So more information can be found. So here, at this point, it's going to check every minute, do all the things. So I should be able to get status, get add. And what I've effectively done is I said, hey, in the management cluster, I want a Backstage. And then in that Backstage YAML, all I do is point over to this Backstage bucket. So we should be able to go. So if I do git add or do git commit, add Backstage, add push, whoops. Then what I should see over here is I should start to see in this management cluster, I should start to see Helm repository is being added and a Backstage namespace get added so that I have a running Backstage. I'm just taking all the defaults. Do a quick little time check here. I have lots of time. Okay. So yeah, it looks like I got some time. Nothing new coming down the pipes. But there it is. I was about to say I kind of expect to see a Backstage namespace, and there it is. So Flux, all I did was do a git commit. Flux was like, "Hey, bro, your management cluster needs more stuff." So that's it. I go. Fantastic. So we'll keep that. We'll let that go. It's running. Okay. So now that it's running, now what? It says the Helm chart deploys a prepackaged container image that contains a vanilla Backstage instance for demo purposes. This image is probably not suitable for use in production. For further customization of the Backstage instance, please create your own custom instance and container image for details. Okay, I mean, that's cool. Let's take a peek in here. It's up. Found 2 secrets. It's doing stuff. Yeah, but what? But what? No. C5D5BCFD-SW9XD. Oh, what did I do? Okay. Okay, it's running. It says, hey, that's cool. I'm running here. 7007. And I mean, I didn't mean I just meant. All right. So, right. So then I can just like port forward to that. I don't know off the top of my head. We'll leave it. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna switch. All right. J-Ma says, this reminds me when I was early in my career and I was trying to self-install Jira to prove my bosses that we needed some kind of backlog system. Hooray, I installed it. What, I gotta configure it with plugins now? Like, ugh, yeah. Like, what now? That's exactly right. That's exactly right. You get me. Like, I feel like we understand what's going on. I'm really just wanting to hear like what's going on in your life, what's going on in your world. How are you rocking it? But what I'm gonna do now is I got Backstage installed. I just did the Helm chart. Obviously, it's nothing fancy. I'm going to unplug this because I got one more cluster I want to set up before I've got to do other stuff, and that's this one. I want to get another instance up and running, and this is gonna be my Karifi cluster, which is just gonna be a run cluster, and then we'll go. So that's Karifi's Cloud Foundry on Kubernetes. So please enjoy the music, and this might be fun to watch, right? I wonder if it'll reconnect after I shut things down. So please hold. So I'm just like moving this back into the closet. I've got to get the HDMI dummy thing so it'll actually start up. It thinks it has a monitor. There's a boot. I need one network cable, blue for management. Actually, no. 1 foot. One. That's it, right? Power, monitor, fake monitor, and Alright, so this is going to be the last nook that we set up. Just simple Ubuntu Tailscale, K3S. Just give me a cluster, and then we'll manage it with we'll manage it with flux. I don't know if you can see the screen or not, but that is absolutely not a bowl of apple pie with ice cream. That's not what that is. All right. So it just canceled, but now it should be up and running again. Right, boom. So that's the management cluster is now in the data center closet. I did a quick count. It looks like there's about 25 computers in there now. And you're asking yourself, like what about power and all like how is that crazy? Doesn't it get hot in there? It's really hot in that closet because there's a lot of compute in there. But it doesn't, even though it's warm, it doesn't actually soak a lot of, doesn't draw a lot of power because it's Nooks and Raspberry Pis. And one NVIDIA Jetson. But it doesn't actually draw a lot of power. And we have the smart power, and that will be a part of what we do. And James, you might remember, that was one of my demos is where I had, back in early version of the Home Lab, I had the smart power adapters. So it's set up so that I can do that again. And I have all that code. But the idea is to show like, hey, which clusters are drawing how much power, and then I always have like a live data thing. So when I unplug the power and then my data stops. It's an easy way to do it. But we're gonna aggregate too, remember. So now this is, how come when I booted this machine, it didn't boot to the DVD? Like the others. It had a different setup. Hey, thanks for joining. We're not doing anything real fancy, but if you've got questions, I may have answers. I am just trying to get some Kubernetes stuff deployed and installed. So the way that I'm doing that is over here. I've got a Nook that I'm deploying. This is the last cluster that I installed, and what we're shooting for here. This is kind of what it looks like at a high level. I've got some dev clusters like my daily driver that I'm working at, my work machine, and then I've got this Kaitaku machine that might have a dev cluster on it as well. And yeah, and then that build cluster where the builds happen, where the images get made. Then I've got a management or a set of management clusters. Right now it's just one. And yeah, it's got some management type things. And then I've got a bunch of run clusters, a bunch of places to run Spring Boot workloads. I'm gonna start with Spring Boot, and yeah, and then we'll go from there. And it's all gonna be build packs, right? That's the key. So later on, I'm gonna get into this multi-architecture build pack. So yeah, did this go? No, it's still trying to boot. I believe it's still trying to boot. Oh, never mind. It's booting from the disk. Maybe. You probably can't see it, but this is. Let's get some Kubernetes dial tone. Right, like how great an exercise is this? Let's just get some Kubernetes dial tone on a bunch of machines, and then we'll go from there. I just want to be done with the infrastructure part. The good new for heart. Awesome. All right, let's see. The DVD is working, so I think we're installing it. And one of the things I'm trying to do is, right, I want this to be latest, right? So we did Kaku, we did Kaizen, and now we're working on Senshin. And yeah, we're just doing the same steps. We're going to install Ubuntu. We're going to upgrade it to latest greatest. We're going to install Tailscale. Then we'll do K3S and then Karifi. So let's go. Let's read ahead. And let's see what we need to do to install Karifi. Yeah, Vision for CF. Differences. Okay, install instructions. Let's go. Warning, make sure you're using the correct version of these instructions by using the link in the release notes for the version you're trying to install. If not sure, click hassle-free installer for kind clusters. So I don't want to use kind. Improve docs. Ready to try it? See the install instructions. Here, we're doing the V0.10.0. So let's just put that in our notes. And let's check back here. Cool. Graphic process of deploying a released version of Karifi. You got Kubectl. We have CF. Yeah, I do. Right, CF? No, I don't. I have it on the other computer. Open the new tab. Installing package manager. Linux. Is that seriously how we're doing it? Oh, but I'm a Mac. So let's do this. We want which version? 8.5. 8.5 or greater. Alright. So that's probably this. So let's do that. We're reading ahead. So, wow. Look at this. Thank you so much. I don't really push the subscription thing, but I do appreciate every single one of them. So this said, did we do it? Looks like it's good. Brew update. This is something I haven't done yet today. But this is what Rundeck should do. Brew upgrade. Alright, so we did that. Now we have CF, and I believe we have Helm. We do. So now resources, cluster of one of the upstream releases. Well, I'm not really gonna, I don't care. A 1.28, yeah, like, that doesn't matter. Container registry. I have Docker, and I hope that works. So we'll go. So this document was tested on EKS using, and okay, install creator. Okay, that's cool. So the following environment variables will be needed throughout this guide. So the first thing I'm asking myself is, will I be able to do this via Flux? Whether it says I can or I can't, I think that's the way I'm gonna go. Oh, now. So that's the thing. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see as we go. Awesome. Let's see what we got. It's still going. Let's just keep on pushing. The following environment variables will be needed. So let's just do it this way. Let's go over here. And root namespace. The namespace of the root of the Karifi org and space hierarchy. Default .cf. Here are examples. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy these into an environment during I'm just going to take those examples and I'm just going to change the base domain to Deshawn.dev, Karifi.Deshawn.dev. Yeah. So let's copy those. I'm going to do this because I got other secrets in there. So please hold. Export and export. Yeah, we're going to use Karifi.Deshawn.dev. The admin username will keep, Karifi namespace will keep, root namespace will keep. I think we're okay. I'm taking off the quotes. Don't ask me why. Only because the rest of my file doesn't have them. So here's what I did. I updated this file and I said, hey, yeah, here's the file. So these are all the stuff that I get from my secrets, my environment. So let's keep on going. Awesome. I'm not sure what that means, but I like all the hearts and all the excitement. Thank you. We're going to keep on going. Karifi, free Docker Hub account. Docker Hub allows one private repo per free account, and that in the case Docker Hub, in case the Docker Hub account you configure has private, then Karifi would only be able to create a single repository and would get unauthorized when trying to push a subsequent repository. This could either cause build errors during CF push, or the KPAC cluster builder may never become ready. Therefore, you should either set the default repository privacy to public or upgrade your Docker Hub subscription plan. As of today, the Pro subscription plan provides unlimited private repos. I'm going to go ahead and do public. I don't have money. So let's just do the do. Hey, I see your subscription. I just got an email. James Moss says, hey, can you turn up your mic volume when you get a chance? It's pretty quiet on my end. So this is the hardest thing, is like understanding the audio pieces. So I'm going to hit this mic volume up a little bit right there. And I'm going to just do that right there. And the goal, what I'm trying to do, let's do this. Let's get that out of the way. Where are you at, Mike? There you go. What I'm trying to do is I want the music to just be like fill in the gap, like cover up all the fan noise, but I want you to hear my voice over the music. And sometimes when there's nobody there, I mumble a little bit, but that you're giving me this feedback, it makes me more excited, and I'm going to talk clear, and I'll try to talk into the mic and into the camera. So thank you for being here. And yes. So yeah, now the mic was covering, I got it. But yeah, streaming is hard. And it's one of the things, like, my belief is if you want to get better at something, do more of it. So I've been trying to stream every day, at least a little bit. And just doing things out in the open. It helps if I turn off my kitchen fan. I get it. So I'll try to talk louder, and I do appreciate you here, because it is, sometimes it's really, really hard to like stream to nobody. But when there's somebody there, and even if you disappeared, like I can still feel like I'm talking to you, like have like a persona that's on the other side of the camera. That helps. But once again, JM Blue 7827, thank you for the subscribe. I really do appreciate that. We are looking ahead. So our other machine over here, it's now doing the install. So we're going to install this. We're going to click through the steps. We're just going to set up another cluster so we can install Karifi over here. So this is good. Ubuntu server. It's got an IP address. We don't need a proxy. Let it find its mirrors. So as it finds its mirrors, And James says, I'm everywhere. I'm in the cloud. Yes, absolutely. You are in the cloud. So I'll just start talking to you and I'll wait for you to get here. I'm like, hey, James, are you here? All right, so this says Cert Manager allows us to automatically create internal certs within the cluster. Follow the instructions to install the latest version. So guess what? Once I get this cluster set up, now I am going to name this cluster Karifi. So this cluster is going to be called Karifi. So what I'm going to do over here is, even before I have the cluster set up, I know what I'm going to do. Is all I have to do is like copy over, oops, cancel. All I've got to do is copy over this Cert Manager. That's all I'm gonna have to do, is to put Cert Manager inside of my Karifi cluster. That's all I've got to do. So let's go back to those instructions. It's kind of easy. Kpack, follow the instructions to install the latest version. I'm gonna do that. So this will be nice and easy as well. So I'm gonna have Kpack installed in multiple places here in my build cluster. So we'll do just both at the same time. What could possibly go wrong, especially if we do it live? But the whole idea is we're gonna have different places. The goal is to have different places to run. Now, James, you may or may not remember like Spring Cloud Pipelines. This is the whole, and it's outdated, right? Spring Cloud Pipelines. Like, this is an outdated project. It's deprecated. But what it did, like the idea is like, and this is where I'm stuck, is like, hey, I just want you to give me like, what? Hello. Oh, no. What is your GitHub org? So this is what it's going to look like. What are your tenants? And tenants is the Flux CD nomenclature. So this is what we do. Like, the first one is Deshaun-dev. GitHub.com/Deshaun-dev. This is my tenant. This is my internal. This is my product. This is my thing that has all the stuff. This is the app team that wants to go to production. So what I want to do, it's not what I'm doing right now because we've switched things, but what I want to do is that, like, hey, you'd like to go to production on my platform? That's cool. What I can do is I can build all the stuff. So we do a GitHub crawler. So instead of going and placing GitHub actions and copying and pasting GitHub actions, I'm just going to do this GitHub crawler and I'm going to build things. The way that I build things, though, the approach that I'm taking is, hey, I'm going to crawl, I'm going to find, oh, here I found one because it's got a pom.xml or a Gradle file. Once I see those, I'm going to start building a supply chain. So this is what Spring Cloud Pipelines did. It had a crawler that would go and generate your concourse pipelines. It would look at your org and every project they found, and it would do for .NET and for others as well. I'm going to start, what's on my menu is Spring Boot. So what my project will do, similar to Spring Cloud Pipelines, but using Choreographer and Kpack instead, is I'm going to crawl your repository, and anytime that I see a new tag, when I see a new tag, enter, then I'm going to build for that tag, and I will deliver a tagged OCI image. But I'm following the same concept where all you got to do to play on my platform is tell me your org. That's the idea. And then my supply chain. But then you get Flux. I say the big A application. So I'm going to build all those pipelines, but you get to tell me, like, you get to control a little bit on how you want that deployed. Which version? Like here, I'm saying, hey, this is what I want. This is the API that I'm going to give you to deploy this. And you could just say latest, right? But I'm going to control how often I check for that, how often I update, how often I pull things. But you get a little bit of configuration here. I can add whatever I want. This idea of tell me your thresholds from the beginning. I could add that into this API. I haven't done it yet, but this is where I'm starting. The idea is I can give you this API. I can give you this to control it. I could still end up deploying to Cloud Foundry or Kubernetes or VMs. I could still do all of those things. This is just the API that I'm choosing to do that through. Oh yeah, that camera is not like awesome. This one over here, it's not awesome. It's installing. All I did was find the mirrors. Oh, and I was pointing to all my stuff without being on the screen. Lame. Thanks again. Streaming is hard. So let's do this. Blurry camera. We're here. I was explaining. This is the API. This is what I'm trying to do. What's your GitHub org? Tell me your GitHub org. I'm going to go and I'm going to use concepts that I learned from Spring Cloud Pipelines. I'm going to crawl your org. I'm going to find all the repositories. These are the conventions to run on my platform. I will find all the Spring Boot repositories, whether they're Maven or Gradle, and I will build them only if they are tagged. That's my convention. So I'm not going to build for all your snapshot commits, all your stuff all day. I'm not doing that because I got Raspberry Pis. So you tag a release, you'll have a released image. So like this case, dev.deshawn service gateway name convention gets, because it's got a tag over here, it has a version and tags. Right, there's a 20, and I'll do the latest. This is part of the conventions, but you might notice here I'm building x86 images and ARM64 images. And what I'm doing is I'm combining these two images. Look, you can see it here. I combine these two images into a manifest as part of my path to production because I got Nooks and Raspberry Pis. So I'm going to build these native images, and these are native images. Look how tiny they are. These aren't, I'm not delivering a JVM. I'm not delivering bytecode. I'm delivering a Linux binary for AMD 64 and for ARM 64. And I'm combining them into a manifest. So if it's on the Raspberry Pi, it'll pull down this layer or this version. And if it's on a Nook, it's going to pull on this one. But this is the path to production so that I can move your workloads around, right? I can, hey, if you don't give me a constraint that says this needs to run on x86, I can run it on any one of these run clusters. And I have flexibility to move that workload around. But this is how, these are the conventions. Flux will control the deployment. So you can tell me, I'm giving you as a tenant on my infrastructure, I'm going to give you this amount of flexibility where you can say, hey, I want this version of authorization server deployed. Or you could say, hey, I want latest, but I get to control the rest of the environment. So as an app developer, as an app team, you're going to tell me your org. You're going to give me what you want to deploy. You don't have to give me a Flux. You can still play. I can still build all the images and throw them out if you want to do something else. But if you want to deploy onto my infrastructure, I will happily build these things for you. Tags. If you want to play on my system, then you've got to give me this. This is your interface on how you decide that you want to get deployed. and we can expand it. We'll go further later, but that's the interface. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for the, I got cameras, I got stuff. We're getting better. But that's it. So that's the idea. So right now I've got, yeah, I got stuff. And over here, we're gonna use all the disk on this Ubuntu server that we're building for Karifi. And we're gonna fill in some names. And this is, what did I call the name? I used ChatGPT to come up with cool names. I'd had some of these other names like Kaizen, Kaitaku. Those are already, I found Kaitaku and Senshin yesterday with ChatGPT. So this one is Senshin. Pick a username. Big boy. I do want to have SSH access. Oops. I want to use the same keys from GitHub. So it says, hey, I see some keys. Are these allowed to log in? Yes. Okay, so now it's going to finish its install. More interesting in naming it after Greek Norse gods. Right on. That gets old quick. These are like, those are all things that have like the interesting business approaches and development approaches kind of associated with it. Yeah, like fun words that have more meaning than Thor. Or what's the one that everybody does? Heimdall. Yeah. So yeah, we're doing stuff. Yeah, so let's keep on going. We're reading ahead, so we're not like blocked here. I showed that my platform is going to build only tags. There's no snapshotty stuff in here. It builds both x86 and ARM64, and then it throws them into a manifest. So no matter what, I just say like, hey, I want gateway version 0020, and if it lands on a ARM machine, it'll grab the ARM layer. If it lands on a x86, it'll grab the x86 layer. And if you've been paying attention, we've got some RISC-V stuff in here that's going to be deployed soon, because I'm working with the GraalVM supports RISC-V. I'm supporting the Paketo ARM64. So here's something that's, if you aren't aware, this is what we're going to be working on later. I've been delivering the Paketo ARM64 build pack for a while, and yeah, let's check. The last time we looked, it was at like 9.4 thousand. Let's take a look and see. Whoops. Let's see where it's at. I haven't created. Oh, we hit 10,000. That feels like, that makes me feel really good. That makes me feel really good. We should probably push out a new build right now while we're doing this, because that's what I'm getting into next, and I'm kind of running out of time on the stream. So let me take a quick peek over my other calendar here. I got some stuff that needs to happen. It says I have some new emails, but I do not see them. All right, we are all set. Sorry, I'm doing like the actual like work, the admin side of the work. There we go. And my calendar still looks good. All right, so we're here, we're doing stuff. Dude, Icon, hey, Icon, there's somebody else on the stream. His name is James Ma. Like, you think I got skills? This guy is another level. So say hi to James Ma. He's here and he's awesome, and he's somebody that has helped me along my journey. He's been a Sherpa at different points in my career of like just helping like show like, hey, here's where we could be going. I know where I can see where you're going, but have you thought about going this way? So I'm a real fan. But thank you for always showing up when I stream. I appreciate it so much. I've been streaming for a couple hours, going on a couple hours here. I was hoping I was going to catch up with Jitter Ted today, but I don't know if I responded fast enough to get on his calendar. So I still hope to do that soon, but we're moving forward. I'm going to do a quick little build here because I'm trying to multitask, which I'm not really good at, but I'm going to try. So we're going to do this. We're going to pull, and I just want to see if I can do a multi-architecture build here. I think I just do this. And what this is going to do is it's going to go and grab the latest version of the build pack. It's going to grab all of its dependencies. It's going to check them all out. And then for the ones that need ARM64 versions, it'll build ARM64 versions and then build that into a build pack and then squish things together. So wish me luck. We'll let that go. That can run in the background. So it's just going to go and build all these. Oh, you know what? I got to give it a new stack. We'll do it with stack as kind of a last hurrah, but then we'll switch it out because I think this stack should work. Let's verify that this stack works before we make changes for the new upstream stuff, and we'll go. ARM64. Oh, so back in the closet, it's not just Raspberry Pis. There is an Ampere developer platform, which is 96 cores of ARM64 goodness. So there's a little bit of something back there too. All right, so we are here. This build is ready to reboot. So this is our, I believe, yep, this is the last cluster of NUCs that I have. So all of my x86 infrastructure is going to be deployed. It's going to be, each one is a different cluster. I have Kaitaku's the build. Management is on, which one? Kaizen. And then I got Senshin and Kaikaku. The Senshin node is going to be in the Karifi cluster, and I just call this a NUCs cluster, but it's lame. But we'll see. We'll get back to that. Naming things is hard, but this is the last one. So this is going to reboot, and then we'll do the Tailscale. We'll do the Kubernetes install, and then we'll see if we can get Karifi installed real quick before we got to jump. But I'm kind of glad you're here. All right. So what happened? It failed to. I have an outdated Go. Ooh. All right, so I have some real work to do. Failed to execute repackaging script. Okay, so because I'm a follower on the ARM64 stuff, I've got to like always reach up and figure out what they're doing, so that I can mimic, because I want the ARM64 layer to be as similar as possible as the x86 layer, so that when I glue them together, the results that you get on ARM64 are expected and not different than what you would get on x86. That's the benefit. Yeah, it's hard, but I'll bet you understand it better than you think, because you've been here enough and you've heard me talk enough. I bet you understand it better than you think. So we're gonna pause on this one, and I'm gonna open this because I got to get into this. So I'll open this project up. for later. I'm not going to jump into this right now, but you can just see like, hey, it just went down and pulled down the Paketo build packs, and then we make different versions for ARM64 for some of the things. So that's all we're doing. I will come back to that. So I just wanted to pull that up, remind myself to come back to that. We now, in just a sec, we're going to have a new Kubernetes machine. So let's SSH to Senshin. And we're just going to do all the care and feeding. Sudo app update. Big boy. Sudo apt dist upgrade. Update all the things. I write things that have a visual representation. You just write things. I write things. I'm sorry. It says, do any of us understand? Like, it's just ones and zeros. That's it. It's just like, I don't trust them, but I'll stick around. I think they're going to stick around. I think computers are going to be around for a little while. So we did that. The next thing we want to do is we want to do the tail scale. I want to get it as a part of my network. And there used to be a limit on the number of nodes. It used to be 10, so you had to like figure out where you were going to install it. But that limit has been increased. I don't know what it is anymore. We're going to just keep going and keep trying. But I do need help with the GitHub release again. I was really proud of the GitHub thing that I figured out yesterday. I made it more complicated than I should have, but I'm happy to work with you through GitHub releases. And what I'll say is do the GitHub client, check out the GitHub client. We're gonna do this. So if you were to add this to your VPN, if you were to like grab that URL, add that to your VPN, then while I'm on the computer, I could be talking to all of your other computers on your VPN. So it's kind of a weird thing. So I'm gonna go fast. I want to make sure that it gets into my VPN. But that's the reason why I'm not like really scared of you taking it. It's because that'd be like I'd be inside your VPN, and you don't have access to that computer, even though it would be connected to your VPN. I'd be inside your VPN, and I could do things. So, anyways, it's in my VPN now, so you can't copy that and add it to yours. But that was just the thing. So we've done that. I don't think. Let's go back and look at our notes. We did the upgrade. We did Tailscale. Let's do the K3S build. So now that that's been added to our VPN, we can get out of here. Let's ping it, Senshin. We should get a 100 dot address. There we go. That's the VPN address. And then we should history grab K3 catch up. And we're going to say catch up. Install --IP. We're going to use this IP because we're installing a new cluster. --user is me. -K3S extra args. I'm saying, hey, you know what? Disable traffic. I'll figure out that myself. Merge. I want this new context, this new Kubernetes context. I want it in my local config. But this context is going to be called Griefy. All right. Icon says you set it up for me about a year ago. I just need a refresher. Let's go. Like, I do not have basketball tonight. We can do it on my stream. We can do it on yours. Either way, like, let's do it. Oh, I didn't do the sudo password thing. Let's go to Senshin and sudo nano the sudoers. Big boy. There we go, up to the bottom. And we want catch up. Why would I put this in my brain when I can just go and copy it, right? Hello. Not that one. That one. I know where it is. I know where to go get it. But it's not Alex. It's Deshaun. My name is Deshaun, aka Java Grunt. So let's do this, and let's run this again, and it should work this time. And it should work this time. So that is up and running. The machine next to me is up and running. And now we just installed Kubernetes using Ketchup from Alex. And now I should be able to say, hey, let's switch to that context called Corifi. And let's make sure that everything's there. kubectl nodes -o5. I want to see it all. And hey, we're up and running. Fantastic. What else do I need to do? Over here. Oh, I got to Fluxify it. Fluxify it. So the steps that I do here, remember, here's my README. This is what I need to do. I can go like this. I can say, hey, let's just run this. I've already set my context, so let's just run it. This is going to install Flux on that cluster. You see here, there's no Corifi cluster here, but I want these clusters to be managed with Flux. So before I can handle everything with Flux, I have to have an operating system. I have to have a cluster. I have to have a kubectl config, but that's it. Whatever version of Kubernetes, it doesn't really matter as long as the API works. So yeah, it's got to be a recent version, some minimum version of it. But yeah, I've done this same pattern with multiple versions, and I'm doing it all live. Like, I want you to know that you could set up the exact same cluster. You could go and copy these configurations, and you could do the exact same thing. So if you want to set up a Corifi cluster, you can go out to my public repo and you can grab it and you can install the exact same way that I'm doing. What that means is I could have like a developer cluster here, like a template for a developer cluster that I could give to K3D Tanzu, to somebody that wanted to like have the same things on the menu that I've got. I could give them a template of, hey, here's what a developer cluster looks like. Here's the things that are on the menu that you know that then you're supported all the way through to production. So we see now that we've got a Corifi cluster, but it's got nothing. It's just got the Flux system installed. We know, because we were reading ahead, we know that, hey, I can close this, I can close this, and I'm gonna come back to that, and that. We know, oops, I was showing that off. Where's my, here, install. So we know that we need Cert Manager. So it says install Cert Manager. So watch how we do this. We're gonna go grab this, copy, paste. I want you to see how easy it is, because before I was installing new stuff, but I already know how to install Cert Manager. So all I'm gonna do, get status, get add, get commit, add Cert Manager. So now watch this. Because it's got Flux. Now this is the MGMT cluster, so let's get out of there. kubectx, kube k9s. Now we're connected to Corifi. And now, because I just did a git commit, now I'm gonna get a Cert Manager install. I didn't have to do anything else. I just put that file in. That file has already been set up. I already have. All I did was say, hey, point to this Cert Manager. This is how I deploy Cert Manager across my infrastructure. So here, boom, I just pointed to this and it's just doing the Helm install. So in that cluster, and I could have multiple installs, but they're all, installed the same way. Like, why would I install Cert Manager in different ways? Well, here's an example. Maybe I'm installing on ARM64 and it's got different configs, but I've got a base way of doing things. So if I make a change to the way I install Cert Manager, I can make that change here, And then all of my clusters that are installing Cert Manager, they all get it. So I'm consistent. That convention is consistent across all the clusters. So I don't have any like gotchas as I move workloads around the different. Oh, and I missed it. It was so fast I missed it. So there's Cert Manager. Fantastic. Now, I believe we can do the same thing. KPack is used to build runnable applications from source code using cloud native build packs. Follow the instructions to install the latest versions. I don't know if I need to do that. So there was, I don't know if I did all the right stuff, but let's see. Let's see. So we'll find out. I do. What was that? Hey.
Hi.
Hi.
Can I have my phone so I can text mom?
Haha. All right. So here's what I was saying. I have this customization over here where all I did was install the ammo. I don't think I went through the whole install. So let's go take a look and see what happens. Follow the instructions to install the latest version. Let's see. Installing. We've got that check. We've got that check. Cluster admin permissions for the current user. That should be check. And an accessible Docker v2 registry. So this just says apply and go. Apply and go. I think the web hook. All right, let's see. So what I think I just read was, if I do this exact same thing, do I have KPack installed anywhere? Not in basement, not in build, not yet. Oops, cancel. K3 juice. I think I did. Wait, one of these. Did you on Tanzu? Here we go. So I think if I just copy this, so I've got it on one of these clusters, but I'm going to copy the exact same file. Right, I'm just going to install it the same way. All I need to do to install KPack on build, right? That was the goal, right? Build has KPack and Karifi requires KPack. So I'm gonna do this 2 times. I'm gonna say paste it over here into build, and yeah, go ahead and do it. And I'm gonna say paste it into Karifi. Paste. So I am adding KPack the exact same way to 2 different clusters. Get status, get add, get commit, add KPack. Get push. So now, which cluster am I looking at here? I'm looking at Karifi. What I could do is, yeah, I'll leave that going. And we'll watch. And Karifi should be getting a KPack. I assume it's in a KPack namespace. Let's go see what we expect. Let's go check out that other K. Yeah, we expect to see a controller. Wait, where'd it go? Controller and a webhook is what we expect. If that one's working properly, that's what we expect. Oh, there they are. Controller and webhook running. That looks good. So Karifi looks like it's got KPack. Let's go here and let's look at kubectx for build. And let's see if we got it over there. Boom. KPack. Container creating, running. This makes us happy, right? All right, fantastic. And yeah, let's switch back. So, because we were worried about Karifi. So let's get that back up and running. And let's go back to our installs. Time check is good. There's no questions on the chat, on either chat. So let's go. We've got here, we did this. It's installed. This looks good, right? We saw that already. So now we've installed KPAC. The Helm chart will create an example KPAC cluster builder with the associated cluster store and cluster stack by default. To use your own cluster builder, specify the value. See the KPAC tab. We'll come back to that later. Contour is our ingress controller. Follow the instructions from the Getting Started guide to install the latest version. Sure, we will install Contour. This is very familiar to me because of Knative serving. Contour uses Knative serving as well. Or no. Knative serving uses Courier. But I've used Contour. Anyways, so let's do this. Do I have it? Do I have Contour as part of my infrastructure options? I do not. So we want to put something else on the infrastructure menu. We just add a new directory. We call it Contour, which I'm sure it's already been there at some point, but we're putting it back on the menu. And option 1, option 2 is Helm. Does anybody Contour gateway what? What is it? I mean, the gateway provisioner watches for the creation of gateway API resources and dynamically provisions Contour Envoy instances based on the gateway spec. Note that although the provisioning request itself is made by the gateway API resource, this method of installation still allows you to use any of the supported APIs for defining virtual hosts and routes. In fact, this guide would use an ingress resource to define routing rules, even when using Gateway Provisioner for installation. Should I go down this route? Let's not go. Oh, I got a lot of Helm stuff installed, so let's go the Helm route. Let's do this. So I think Cert Manager kind of did the same thing. So let's copy these guys. Copy. We'll put those over here. We'll change the names to protect the innocent. Paste. So yeah. So inside, we're putting something new on the menu. We're just saying, hey, I want you to grab this helm.yaml. Inside that helm.yaml, we're going to create a Contour namespace. And we're going to add a Bitnami. Now, we already have a Bitnami chart. So this will be interesting, right? The Bitnami chart who installed the Bitnami chart? It was Backstage. So I want to install this Bitnami chart the same way. So I'm wondering what happens here. If I say, hey, here's my Helm repository and it's already been defined, what will happen? Well, we're going to find out. We're going to find out. Install the Contour chart by running the following. We're going to use the Bitnami Contour, project Contour. All right, so this is, and this is create namespace. So let's do, we're here, there's the repo, this Helm release. Say Contour, and we're going to say Contour because that's what we set up there. So we're going to not take the defaults. The chart is Contour. The repository is Bitnami. The namespace is the namespace of the chart. The Helm repository is in Flux System. And these values we don't need. So this should install a Contour release into Contour. We don't need to do the create namespace because we already did it. Verify Contour is ready by running. Okay. I think that looks good. I think that looks good. So let's do git add, git status, git commit. Oh wait, we didn't do it all the way. Yeah, we can add this right here. Git commit, add Contour chart. Nothing is going to deploy because we haven't referenced it yet. Okay, so what I need to do in Corifi is I need to do, actually I'll do it like this. I'll say copy, paste as Contour, and then I will edit that Contour, change the names, protect the innocent, metadata is Contour, here is Contour, and that's it. Boom, boom, boom. Now, on Corifi, I've said, hey, add this infrastructure. This infrastructure for Contour says, hey, go install this. It'll install this Helm chart based on this information. Git add, git status, git commit, add Contour. And now we are watching over here on Corifi. I expect to see a namespace called Corifi. And I expect to see something because this is telling me that I should see services and pods. I should see a Contour pod, and a Contour envoy, and a Contour service, and a Contour envoy service. So let's see. And then I think I need to start getting ready for the rest of my day, the rest of my work day. So this has been wonderful. We'll see if we can get this working. But at that point, we didn't do option 3. We should just, once we see this, we think that we're ready to go. So let's see. Oh, it's not there. Let's go take a look and see if we can see anything. kubectx Corifi, and then let's say kubectl get customization -a. All right, so it's reconciling here. Let's watch it. It's like, yeah, I'm trying to do stuff. I'm trying to get it going. Now, here's the thing. I did not install a CNI. So maybe that's the problem. Because I told it not to install Traefik, which Traefik gets installed by default. Traefik has an ingress also. So we'll see. I might be the issue here. But we'll give it a minute. It's only been 53 seconds. It's still unknown, so that's a good thing. Wait, no. Oh, wait, yeah, we're seeing stuff. So Contour says this is running, Contour. So we got our pods running. So what's up? What are you trying to reconcile? Oh, the service has got to get up. So this is good. This guy, oh, the service LB says, hey, you know what? I'll bet you. It's like, I don't have a network. Like, what's up? Let's look at the head. Oh, it's got nothing. Stream closed. And oh, so am I in crash loop back off land? It just says pending. So it's waiting on something. What's it waiting on? It's like, I don't have a network, bro. I think that's the problem here. Is I gotta give it some way of connecting inside of the network. I gotta give it a CNI because I didn't install one. Remember I said -- disable Traefik. I did that because I've been trying to lean into Cilium because I have bros, friends, people over at Cilium, and I just kind of wanted to lean into that a little bit. So this might be a good place to stop. I got to go and reswizzle and get a network for this in order to get that service up. So that's fine. That's fine. What I can do is I can just stop here and I can go get ready for the rest of my workday. And then later on, I need to write a note. I need to add Oracle Reedy cluster. Like that's where I should be. And I think that's it. So thanks for joining. Hopefully you got something out of it. At least you know that you're not alone. Sometimes it's just busy work and we're not doing all cool stuff all the time. But I want to get back into the cool stuff. So I'm gonna deploy all of this infrastructure. I want to get Kubernetes to Altone. I want to get some build stuff so that I have a supply chain where I can just git commit. I want that git commit life. That's what I'm trying to get to. Git commit. I don't care what you do. Just get it in production. But I care, like as a developer, like I understand like there's different options, you know, and there's different ways to get there. And I want you to understand what's happening after the git commit. I don't want you to concern yourself with it. I don't want to keep you up at night, but I'm just checking the boxes, doing some of the examples. I want to have stuff running. I want to have my Spring Boot examples. I want to have all the stuff in my GitHub, all those repositories. I just want them to be deployed to production. That's it. I have a really hard time having a bunch of these GitHub repos just in GitHub. I want you to be able to click and go see and take a look. That's it. That's where I'm trying to go. And then if I can do that, then I will definitely get excited to do more. So thanks for joining. Yeah, thanks. We're here. And we'll see you soon. Hopefully. Smash that like button.